Hello, in this video I'm going to be talking about using Photoshop to prepare a hand-drawn image that you've scanned or photographed and to prepare it in Photoshop to animate it in After Effects. So the first thing I did is I drew my image on paper and then scanned it in. So here it is. What I'm going to do, first of all, just go to Image, rotate image, and rotate it 90 degrees clockwise just so I can see what it looks like. And I'm going to go to this hand here. If I double click on the hand tool, what it does is it just fills your image in the screen. So the hand tool, just double clicking, should fill your image on the screen. Okay, so I have everything on one layer, this background layer, but you can see I drew things separately so I could make a puppet that then could be animated. So what I'm going to do is first kind of separate some of these things, and I have some different selection tools here, some of these first three tools that I can use to separate things. Magic wand tool, the lasso tool, and then the rectangular marquee tool. I'm going to use them all. I'm going to start with the rectangular marquee tool here. I have an eye that I drew, basically it's open on my puppet, but then I have a closed eye, just a little crescent. What I'm going to do is I want to put this on top of the eye so I can get a blink to have my character close its eye, but I need to have some of the color of the background above the eye to cover up the part that's open. So I'm going to use the marquee tool to draw a little box around my eye and to just make sure that the box will cover the eye when I put it on top. So what I'm going to do now is I got that selected. The little ants tell me that that's a selection. I'm going to go Control or Command C. I'm on a PC, so it's Control C. Command C on a Mac. And then Control or Command V. And what it's done is we have a new layer here. And I'm going to use my Move tool. If I move that box here, I can move it onto my existing eye. I'm going to use the arrow key just to kind of get it positioned so it covers up the other eye I drew. It's called Layer 1. And but I need one to cover the other eye as well. So what I'm going to do is just go Command A or Control A to select all of this layer 1, Control C or Command C to copy it, Control or Command V to paste it. And I'm just going to put the other eye here along with it. Notice that there's some kind of guides to help you line things up, those red lines you saw. I'm going to hold down the Shift key, click both of these so they're both selected, and I'm going to group them together because I don't need really those eyelids to be separate. So I'm going to right click, or on a Mac, control click, and merge those layers, and I'm going to call them Eye Closed. Just by double clicking on my name here and then retyping it. So I have one layer there. Now, the lasso tool allows you to draw a lasso. So if you click on that, kind of like you're roping at the rodeo, here's the mouth. I'm going to draw a little lasso around the mouth and go Control C. Oh, you know what? When you get this little box, it means you have to be on the layer where it is. So I have to click on the background layer. So I'm going to Control C, Command V to make a copy of just that mouth. And it has that little extra stuff too. I'm going to put it on top. Notice that kind of covers the nose here, and that's because of that that extra bit of white around it. I needed it for the eyelids. I don't need it for the mouth. So I want to get rid of that. I'm going to use this next tool here, the Magic Wand tool. Notice there's some other Magic Wand-like tools. If I click on the white here, what the Magic Wand tool does is it selects pixels that are very similar to the pixel that you clicked on. There's even up here, there's a tolerance adjuster, so you can see how fickle it is at picking similar pixels. It gets them all selected. Now, because I did this on a white piece of paper and I made sure that my lines all connected, it's getting just the background and not the mouth itself. So I can hit the delete key to delete that all, and then the Control or Command D to deselect. And then I can call this mouth. And I have the mouth. So I'm going to click on the background layer again. Now I have more things to select my arm and leg. So I'm going to use the Magic Wand tool on my background layer And just if I click on this, it's basically going to select the whole background. If you need to add to the selection, you hold down the Shift key and click on another area. But this pretty much gets the whole background. I'm going to hit delete, and it actually it won't do it on the background color. So what I need to do first of all is I need to select the whole thing, copy and paste it as a new layer that's not the background layer. So I'm going to go Control A to get it all, and or Command A on a Mac. See, it's all the marching ants are on the whole screen, and then Controller Command C to copy, Controller Command V to paste, and then this background layer I can just drag onto the trash can to delete it. I don't need it anymore. Now when I click on the white background, selects it all, and if I hit the delete key, it's going to delete it, leaving behind this checkerboard pattern, which is the sign of transparency or an alpha channel. So that'll all be, you'll be able to see your background through when you bring that into After Effects. So I'm going to go back to my lasso tool, and I'm going to go first of all Command or Control D to deselect. I already have my closed eye in my mouth and my puppet, so I'm just going to draw a lasso around those two, hit the delete key to delete it. Going to draw a lasso around my arm, and Control C and then Control V to paste it up here. And move it into position. And then I'm going to do the same with the leg, draw a lasso around it, but I'm going to go to layer 1, which is where it is. Oops, I need the Controller Command D to get rid of that. I'm not using the lasso tool. So I'm going to click on the lasso tool, Controller Command D to deselect anything that might be selected, and I'm going to lasso that leg, Control C, Control V, and then I can put that new leg in place. And then I can basically get rid of the ones that are on layer 1. I don't need those anymore. Another thing I could have done is just deleted them when they were selected. I'm going to delete the leg, and then do the same with this arm down here. I don't want to delete any other layer, so it's have to be on layer 1. Okay, so layer 1 ends up being just the face of the sun. So we'll call that face. And then this layer here is the leg on the left. And this layer here is the arm on the right. Got the open mouth and the closed eyes. Okay, so now what I did with the leg, get the selection tool to move the leg into place here. What I did with the leg and the arm is that I only made one of them, but of course my character needs a leg and an arm on the other side. Now, because if you go to image here and image rotation, flip horizontal, that's how I can flip it, but you can't really do that for the layer, just a layer, and I don't want to flip the whole image. My little workaround is to select that leg, so Control A to get it all selected, Controller Command C to copy it, and I'm going to make a new layer, or a new picture, basically a new file. The clipboard is the size of the thing that you have copied, so I'm going to create that, paste the leg in there, and now I can go to Image, and then down to Image Rotations, and flip it horizontally. So my leg goes the right way for the right leg. Again, once again, Controller Command A, Controller Command C to copy, and then Controller Command V to paste it. And I'll just kind of drag that leg into place, and then do the same with the arm. That's going to be leg R. I do the same with the arm here. Controller Command A, Controller Command C. Make a new composition, the size of the clipboard, and then just image rotate, flip it horizontally, and then hit it again. And then I can just close and not save those extra Photoshop projects or files because I don't really need them. So I can just close them and go, no, I don't want to save you. Close this one. No, I don't want to save you. But I want to save you because you are my sun puppet. So I'm just going to go sun puppet. I can also do any coloring I want to do in Photoshop here. But what I'm going to do is just take it into After Effects and animate it, and that's where I'll see you in just a moment. Okay, so here I am in After Effects. I'm going to bring in my sun, but first I'm going to make my movie composition. I'm going to call this a sun movie, and I'll go with HD 1080-24 preset. Set the duration for 5 seconds with 5 dot, and click outside, go OK. So I want to bring in my sun puppet. Maybe I'll, with the composition settings, going to change the background color to a nice blue. I'm going to need to make a layer for that to make that an official background color. So layer, new, solid, and then that's the color I want. So there's that solid, the background. So now I'm going to bring in my puppet I made. So I'm going to go File, Import File. Going to find that sun puppet right here, the Photoshop file. And I'm going to go down here where it says Import As and set that for Composition, Retain Layer Sizes. So my Photoshop file with all those different parts on different layers will import in as a composition with all those layers on separate layers of the composition. So just going to double check. It wants me to make sure that I want to do it as a composition. So here it is, the sun puppet. I'm going to drag it into my composition. I'm going to hit S to make it a little smaller so I can see the whole sun puppet there. And maybe use the move tool to move it around a little bit. So here we go. Now I have it here, and if I double click on sun puppet, here's my Photoshop, basically composition with everything on a different layer. So the first thing I want to do maybe the mouth is going to start out with the closed, and then it's going to open up and smile at about 2 seconds in. So I'm going to go to my mouth layer, hit T for opacity. So I'm going to start out with the opacity of this mouth open layer 0. So we just see that closed mouth, the line. I'm going to click on the stopwatch to make a keyframe. I'm going to right click on that keyframe and choose toggle hold keyframe to make that into a hold keyframe. So if I go to 2 seconds, put my playhead there, and just change this value to 100, so I see that open mouth, it makes a new keyframe that's a hold keyframe. My mouth is going to open and smile at that point. I'm going to do a similar thing with my eyes. I'm going to go to the eyes closed layer, hit T, make sure that my opacity is 0% at first so I don't see those closed eyes. Hit the stopwatch to make a keyframe. I'm going to control or right click on it to toggle hold keyframe, turn that into a hold keyframe. I'm going to go like right before 2 seconds. That's where I'm going to make my eyes blink. So I'm going to go to that 0, make it a 100, and then I'm going to advance 1 frame. On the PC, it's Control and then the forward arrow. On the Mac, it's Command forward arrow. Go 1 frame forward, make it back to 0. So my eyes blink, just a frame blink at that point. I'm going to make them blink again. Now if I click on that layer, those keyframes for opacity, and just draw a box to select them both, and go Control C and then Control V here, my eyes will do another blink at that point. Okay. So now with my arms and legs, I want to put my rotation points basically where they're going to be rotating. Let me get this fit. It is fitting. Okay, so I'm going to go to this tool here, the anchor point tool, and on both of my arms and then my legs, I'm going to put the rotation point at the place where it should be rotating. So if I choose one of those, like the leg here, if I go R, maybe I make a keyframe starting in this position, and then I want the leg to kind of go up and then back. Maybe I'll go a little bit forward here, put in a click here to basically set a new keyframe with that same value. Go to rotation, rotate my leg up like that, and I have my legs rotating. So what I'm going to do is have my is set some more keyframes to make my sun continue to bounce up and down, and then we'll see what that looks like. So I added some keyframes here and even some position keyframes in my main composition to rotate the arms and legs and make that image that I made in Photoshop animate in After Effects. So that's thanks so much for joining me in this video, and have fun creating things on paper that you bring then into After Effects.